It's been a little while since I've done one of the YouTube videos, and I kind of wanted to do a series of technology that makes my life easier as someone who's disabled. And I thought I'd start, with the cutest pug ever, because why wouldn't I start that way? All right, I'm not sponsored, so I wish I was to make my life a lot easier, but I'm not. So one of the things that's been really hard for me is that I pretty much live with pets. That's what makes it hard for me. This is the one who just joined us. That's Pandora. This is what I want to talk about. So just gonna make this a real fun video. Okay, so I have a really hard time with my laptop, even though my laptop is very lightweight. I often can't sit up, which means it's very hard for me to sit at a desk, which my laptop sort of makes necessary. It tips over on my lap. It's not a very good writing experience for something that's on my lap. And aside from doing the podcast and doing interviews, I also have to edit everything, sound edit everything, write the descriptions. I'm also a writer. I write novels and I write children's books, and I do a ton of research. As you can see, what's up on my screen right now is I run a second podcast called I Can't Believe That Happened for children, and I do 10-minute history podcasts about cool things, and this season is the history of robots. So you can imagine how much research I'm doing right now, and I really do need to do that on the computer because I can't really hold books anymore. I was trying to research this from books, and the books were too heavy for my wrists. I have Ehlers Diablo, if you're new to this, and I am not kidding when I say I've dislocated my wrists holding heavy books. So I do almost everything on the computer with control copy paste, and my pencil is everything. I'm also an artist. I write and illustrate children's books. So that's a lot, right? And I really do love working on the iPad because with the pencil, I can illustrate, fix up the illustration, drag and drop it into Scrivener or Pages or whichever other thing I'm using. And when Affinity drops Publisher for iOS, I will party, and that'll be amazing. Anyway, so here's my newest thing that I bought is the Magic Keyboard. Now, it has one near fatal flaw, aside from attracting my cat. This is a really cool piece of machinery. I was worried about it because I read about how heavy it is. I cannot hold this up with one hand. That's not possible. What I can do, especially since my wrist does not work very well, so constantly going from this position to this position, it's depressing, but I've dislocated my shoulder doing that. Having a trackpad means that I can control copy paste much easier. I can scroll just using my fingers, which definitely reduces the amount of strain on my wrist. This is an expensive piece of machinery, and that's one thing we've definitely talked about in the podcast before is how expensive it is to be disabled. So just in the screen, you can see a wheelchair back there. That was close to $12,000 before my insurance kicked in, a bit of money into it. And so the things that I need to be able to function are expensive. This was an expense. The iPad was an expense, the pencil, but it all actually allows me to still do some cool things. Again, this is really helpful. You can use just finger motions, 2, 3, 1 to snuggle a cat. She is insistent, so my apologies about that. Actually, you know what? I don't apologize for that. My cat wants to be pet. She's going to get pet, and I'm sure you all can deal with that. All right, so back to this thing. It's too heavy to hold with one hand, but let me just show you a cool thing. Is typing with my knees bent is actually pretty easy. So this means that on days where I can't leave my bed, which are my cat and my pug's favorite days, I can still work. This does not tip over, except for when the cat tries to claim it's hers. This iPad cover doesn't tip over. Like my MacBook would often tip, or it would fall directly onto my lap. It was impossible to type on from this position, which is the most comfortable position for me. It puts the least amount of stress on my hips and knees. Not that you guys need my full medical history, but just telling you, like, as a disabled person, this is significantly helpful. Too expensive, but significantly helpful. Now, here's what I'm having trouble with, and I thought it was going to be the weight of it. That does not bother me. What bothers me is there is almost no way to use this in a flat position. So let me just show you. You can you can move it, you can move it that far back, so like that, or you can move it like this. But are you seeing what I'm saying? Like the magic keyboard, not the magic keyboard, the smart keyboard, you could actually fold it over. Please don't do that. That hurts me. You could actually fold it all the way over, and then you can work on it as a tablet, as it's meant to be. Now, if I'm going to work on this as a tablet, I will have to take it off of the magnetics. Now, not a big deal, except that my hands and my wrists don't work, and it becomes very easy for me to drop a very expensive piece of machinery. So I'm really kind of upset with Apple that they really didn't think any of this through. They produced their best keyboard ever, and then they didn't remember that the iPad Pro is also a tablet. That means when I'm working on things like Instagram or things that only allow you to be in portrait mode, I have to remove this and now put myself at risk of dropping this. Again, when I'm drawing, it's impossible. You have to take it off if you are not working on a flat surface. If you are working on a flat surface, there's a very cool thing. You've seen it if you've been looking at this, but this is actually one of my favorite things, is I like drawing like this. It reduces so much stress on my wrist and my hand. This is a great drawing position for me. It's also a little difficult when I have this giant thing up here, and it does make it problematic. So am I gonna keep it? Yeah, I'm gonna keep it because a significant part of my day is typing, creating show notes, and writing books and working on research. I'm really not happy about that. I'm really ticked that Apple charged this much, that Apple yet again didn't really consider everything that the product is used for, and that's a little frustrating. But I will keep it, and I'm super happy with it as a keyboard. It's the best one I've used. It doesn't require a significant amount of push to actually get the letter to write. That's actually really helpful. I have actually dislocated my finger by pressing too hard on a key, so I'm really happy about that. Really happy with the backlit keyboard, which Smart Keyboard did not have, and that was just a deal killer for me. I like to be able to type at night when I wake up at 1 in the morning, so this is very good. It's just light enough that I can see it, and not so light that it wakes up my husband next to me. So anyway, that's my disabled artist podcaster review for the Magic Keyboard.